in Powder Mills Park.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Powder Mills Park, right next to the office, right down the street from the studio.
Mm-hmm.
There's a turtle over there. You can see it. Special guest.
Have you ever had turtle stew?
I have.
Oh.
Actually, turtle soup.
Soup.
Yeah, it used to be served in a steakhouse in Lockport. Producer and shooter today, Josh Smith, lives in Lockport. It was Lockport. I don't think it's there anymore. The appetizer was turtle soup, and they would give you a little shot of sherry to put in the turtle soup.
I have not had it.
It's very salty. It's very good.
Speaking of very salty things, 2024 has been salty thus far.
Whew.
We've done a lot.
We've done a ton. We've been here, there, everywhere, in bunny suits and clean rooms, over here, doing stuff for Daystar, doing stuff for United Way, doing stuff we already talked about the airport, but let's hit it again. We've been up in the air, not literally for the airport.
That'll be fun.
Next time. Next spot, we're airborne. What am I
YMCA.
forgetting? YMCA.
YMCA was a big one. I mean, the bunny suit, the clean room was one of my favorites just because I was on the outside looking in. So seeing you guys get all garbed up and then go in was quite entertaining. But yeah, Daystar, that's a fan favorite. And
every year.
Telling that story. And then what else? All your Western New York Works items too. You've been up and down.
I'll tell you what.
The 90, not
the 90. The 90.
The 90.
You want to go someplace nice? Wellsville, New York.
Yeah.
Little town, been there 3 or 4 times now. Texas Hots is the restaurant. You want to go there. There's little jukeboxes right at the booth. So you can put your quarters in, play some old-timey music, get a hot dog.
Did you get a milkshake?
I didn't get a milkshake,
okay.
But the fries come with gravy on them.
Oh, wow. We need to get back to Wellsville.
Yeah. Wellsville. Got a mosquito.
This is the saltiest thing of 2024 is this shoot right here.
Yeah.
We are in the elements.
We're in the elements. We're getting deeper and deeper. We were in the lake house. Now we're out here.
We should explain that. The premise was we were just going to make very simple setups. You know, the reason why we selected nature and outdoors is because we are often shooting on location 98% of the time.
Yeah.
And so we aren't that studio podcast where we're going to have everything well lit and dressed in the background. We're going to come into a space. We're going to use what's at our disposal. Be okay with birds chirping in the background.
Birds chirping. Lawnmower sometimes.
Sometimes. They're done.
The babbling brook.
Yeah, we're okay with that.
We like it.
Because we shoot like real moments and real people.
Right.
Speaking of some of our work this year, and it's been salty, yes, but we had some challenges within... Challenges are opportunities too. So not negative when it comes to challenges, but shooting real people. Whether it was telling our Daystar story and you never quite know what kind of child you're going to get. You're shooting 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, sometimes infants. Like, how are you going to manage that if they're having a bad day?
Right.
And I think this year we got really lucky with our story, Teddy.
Teddy was fantastic. He may be like this every day, but he was in such a good mood. So many smiles to the camera, to the other kids, with his parents, with his teachers. We've done, I don't know, I think I've done 4 or 5 Daystar shoots so far. Do it every year. One of our favorites to do every year. And I think this was the best one yet, which is, I mean, that's what you want. You want to be getting better and better.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think that it was great. Teddy was amazing. His folks were amazing. Can't wait for next year.
I know. That interview was so hard to cut down because the parents were so articulate of everything.
Yeah. Dad
had some bars.
Yeah.
Yes, he
really, did.
Yes, that chapter, we got to just insert that chapter line like right here about how Daystar's helping us write that next chapter. That was like, yep.
We've told the medical story, right? It's not often we get to share the story of who Teddy is and what he's becoming. This chapter is the fun chapter, right? We had the hard introduction chapter, but now we're in the fun part of the book. And Daystar is writing that story with us.
And we're back from the clip, and I think you'll all agree that was amazing. So yeah, that was a great story. And then YMCA, 4 I believe videos in one day of shooting.
Yeah, pretty
good. If you ask, if I do say so myself, we're pretty great.
We're awesome. Let's make sure that's clear. On that same topic of working with talent, working with real people, that was a really interesting one. Yeah, we're yielding a ton of spots for them. And we'll get into like the client collaboration space up there, because I think that's awesome of how we work with YMCA and why it works so well. The other element of it is we were shooting a real family. And when they aren't paid actors and talent, they aren't really set up to be available for you for a full day shoot, which is a custom like 8 hours, 10 hours. And sure, you're not working with the children the entire time, that you know, against the law. However, in this case, I think we had a really condensed timeline. We had like 4 hours with the family. And to shoot all those different scenes and the variables, the amount of variables of extras and locations that we had to work with, and working with people that aren't paid actors, you're coaching them through some pretty fundamental stuff at some point. And just getting them in, like, you tell me, you get them in a headspace of like what's most comfortable to them, or what do you do?
Well, in a case like that, it's like they're doing something that they would be doing anyway when we were doing the pre-pro and you were having conversations with the Y, and again, like very collaborative. It's like, well, we're gonna have, little guy there, we're gonna have dad play basketball. We want to shoot basketball. We know we want to shoot basketball. And then it came back, he's like, he really doesn't play basketball. I was like, all right, great. Then we're not shooting basketball, because it's not going to work for anybody. If you're playing a sport or doing an activity that you wouldn't normally do, you're not going to look natural doing it. So let's figure out a different way to get basketball. What does he like to do? He likes to do a spin class. Great. Then we're going to do a spin class, and it turned out awesome.
Yeah.
So like in that scenario, it was basically just shooting long enough and being kind of soft enough for them to forget that you're there, so they're just doing what they would be doing anyway. And I think everybody got a great workout in. I got a great workout in.
You did. You just started moving.
Yeah. And so I think it was really like, in that scenario, it's like they're not delivering lines. It's not like, okay, go over to the sink and wash your hands and then go over and like start making dinner. It's like, you're on a bike, just listen to what the instructor said. She was amazing, and like just do what you would normally do, and try to forget that I'm here with this camera right in your face, you know?
Yeah, and I think fast forwarding in that process and that production, which was incredibly efficient and successful, the amount of activities and items that we covered within that day, I don't think the camera really took too much of a pause once you started rolling first thing in the morning.
No.
And now fast forward into the post-production, the element I love about this piece is it was intended to have terrific sound design, really intentional. It's the sounds of the YMCA. And as that thing unfolded and your edits coming together, when that, I would say, almost final sound design finally hit that timeline, how different that made it feel. And it really just brought all of this like work and into this like unified, in sync, I guess would be the way, not the band.
Or the band.
In sync was there. No, it brought everything in sync, and there was this aha moment in the post-production for me of, yeah, like that all sings and works so tremendously well together.
I think that's, when you think about like, you always want your videos to be growing every year. You want your team to be growing every year, and your work, and obviously most of all your clients. I think that's one thing that we've gotten better at in the last year is prioritizing sound design, because I think we've always been like, yes, like let's try to figure it out, but those timelines tend to get, you're checking with everybody and it's internal review and then external review, client review, and making sure everybody's great. It's like, okay, well, it's finally done. Let's do some color correction. Let's get it what it needs to be. Let's do the social cut downs and all that, and then it's out the door. And if we have time, we'll get sound design. And now it's, no, prioritize sound design, because that is a huge untapped element, if you're not doing it, to put your audience right in the location with you in a natural way. And I think you're right. The Y is a great example of it being a great video, but then when you put sound design in, it's like, oh my gosh, this is great. I love it.
What you just said about sound design is one example of how we've evolved our process, and we evolve our look sometimes. Even a haircut change.
Sometimes a haircut's just what you need.
You need a shift.
You change your hair, you change your life.
I told you that. Energy, you did. Yeah, evolving your hairstyle, evolving into sound design, evolving our product, our process. I mean, I think that's something. When you get stagnant, or you rest or you pause on like, well, we've done it that way before. Great, we've talked about that. But if you're not moving and changing, then you're kind of getting left behind in this space.
Yeah.
And for us lately, AI is a massive conversation in our industry. And that has crept more and more into our conversations of how can we be efficient, how can we leverage AI tools for whether it's brainstorming ideas, for concepting to get us into a space, or is it ways that we can just be more efficient with how we categorize our files so that we can get to the meat of what we do, the creative parts of what we do, so it can do some of the admin responsibilities of file formats and structures. And we're learning, each week in and out, and that's where I'm most excited, is the AI involvement into our work and our process.
I'm really excited about a project that we're just jumping into now. A team from our agency went to Bali to do some work for Cooper Vision. They just got back, and we're having lunches, we're having meetings, we're having live edit sessions, we're having obviously a ton of like Teams chats and stuff like that, but just in a way of translating what they saw and what they experienced in Bali itself to us, so that we can then take our video know-how and documentary storytelling know-how and everything to make sure that it matches the actual authentic story that they witnessed and that they helped shoot there. And every conversation that we have, they're picking up some stuff about video, we're picking up some stuff about what their creative perspectives are, and we're just all getting better all the time. And I'm extremely excited for what we come out with this summer with these projects. It's what I was working on before we came to the park, it's what I'm working on after we leave the park, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Yeah, going a state over, you're sending a team to Bali, and there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of variables between how you receive information across countries, even the 12-hour time difference that you're coordinating with a production crew that we hired, and they did a phenomenal job. That was, local production crew that we wanted, so they understood the communities intimately. They could interact with the locals, speak the language, and that was such a valuable resource for us. And it's a bummer that we couldn't all attend, but for those who did go, they are this wealth of knowledge now. And just like any production, when you have a plan on paper and you go and shoot it, things change. So that saying of paper to screen, we always know things are going to change and there's going to be room for opportunities, discoveries. Now we're really doing that with people who they're like stewarding that through. They were there, and now they're sitting in the edit suite side by side with you and stewarding those ideas and how they shifted from paper and the plan to what happened on production day. Those were busy days for them, and then now into post-production. So watching those come to life in post is going to be really exciting over the next month and a half to 2 months, and a ton of work coming out of that. So I'm really excited about that. We also have an opportunity here to shoot Sean McDermott.
Sean McDermott, football coach, known football coach Sean McDermott.
Yeah,
that's a very exciting one coming up. I love the excitement of that the Bills bring, obviously, to the region. I love watching Bills games, and I love the idea of meeting this really cool guy. And I'm the least excited. I'm very excited, but I am the least excited person on the team for people like yourself who are avid, maybe even rabid Bills fans.
Yeah. You could add that. I'm like giddy, right? And I'm starting to think about, like, don't look too much of a fan. Remain professional, Connor. So I'm excited. I know we have a short amount of time with him, but that project is exciting, not only for Sean, but I think speaking about how we've evolved our process, like, I feel we've stepped into a new phase of just being not afraid to take the risk of putting the crazy idea out there.
Yeah.
And I think that pivot the client might not go for this. And okay, fine. But the more we put those creative out there ideas, the less watered down it becomes. So if all your ideas are creative and out there, I feel like it all rises. Mm-hmm. They pick one of the others. Versus in the past, it used to be, well, give them a crazy, give them a middle, and give them a really safe option. I don't think we're doing those anymore. And it's been so exciting for me to watch. And I think it shows in the work. Like, it brings in new challenges, new ways of how we shoot things, new ways in how we approach the post-production element of it all too. But this concept with Friendly Ford as our client for Sean McDermott is going to be a riot. Like
I can't wait.
I think people are visibly I think people are physically going to be laughing out loud.
I think that whether you're like a huge Bills fan or not, I think that work is going to be really fun to watch.
That gets us into the middle of the summer, and then a lot more to come after that. So I think there's a couple things as we close this, move into the second half of the year. One, we're going to bring bug spray when we're out in nature.
Yep.
So that's
Check.
number one on the list. And then number two is like, just continue to lean into this excitement of new, like kind of scary ideas almost. And
Be afraid.
be afraid.
Be af-
It's okay to be afraid.
It's okay to be afraid in 24.